I'm the client liaison investigator, right-hand man for Eric Deters and Deters Law. I met Eric 13 years ago. I started working for him immediately. We became fast friends and we became best friends. He was my best man at my wedding. I'd returned home from Los Angeles a few years prior to meeting Eric. At that time, my life was at an all-time low. But I got sober and that all changed. I changed. The way I viewed life and people changed. Thank God. I want to tell you about our first and our second meeting. My wife, Rebecca, her mother, she was my girlfriend at the time. Her mother was in a horrible accident. She was at an ATM machine withdrawing money, and a car was pulling into a space, and the driver accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake, pinned her into the bricks on the side of this bank. She was air carried to UC Hospital, severe trauma, a very rough road to recovery. Thank God she is able to walk today. Rebecca and I visited almost every day. And I was at my mom's house one day, and mom was asking how Rebecca's mom was doing. I gave her the update, and mom's asked if they had gotten an attorney yet. And I said, Mom, I don't think so. Who would you use if you were in Deb's situation? She said, now, Chuck, don't go butting into their business. I said, I'm not, but who would you use? She said, well, Eric Deters is known to be a fighter. That's who I'd call. I talked to Rebecca's parents and asked them if they'd like me to make a connection for them. They did, so I did. I sent Eric a Facebook message and he responded right away, at your service. We decided on a time to meet. He came to the hospital and he was really cool about it. Real soft sell. He basically said, you don't have to use me as your lawyer, but I'd like your permission to investigate this case for you. And if you decided you'd like to use me, I'd be honored to help you. Rebecca's parents perked right up. They said, we'd love to have your help. And that was that. He was getting ready to leave. He said his goodbyes and he asked me to step outside in the hallway for a second. And I did. And he asked me, he goes, what do you do for a living? I said, well, right now I cut down trees. He said, I thought you worked in film and TV or advertising. And I said, well, yeah, I've done those things, but right now I cut down trees. He said, I could use somebody like you. I said, doing what? He said, I don't know. But he told me to call his secretary to set up an appointment to come in and talk to him. So I did. And when I came in, one of the first things he said to me was, I'm going to need you available 24/7. I said, I don't know if that's going to work. He said, why is that? I asked him, I said, do you believe people can change? And he said, yeah. I said, good. You see, I'm an alcoholic, and the most important thing in my life is my sobriety. He said, good. I said, well, you say good, but if I need to go to a meeting, I don't ask anyone's permission. Eric stood up from behind his desk, put both arms straight up in the air like I had scored a touchdown and yelled, that's great. Right there in that moment, I believe the foundation was formed. Not only was it okay with him, I knew he respected it and that he would support me in that. Eric has helped me so much. He's been the best friend, the best big brother I never had, and much more than a boss. I was asked to play Bill Wilson in this Broadway style play about the founding of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I needed to take off work early for a couple months. I had Eric's full support in that. When it came time for the play, he not only came, he bought tickets for the entire law office, took them all to dinner at Montgomery Inn before the play, and had everyone come. It might have been mandatory. I don't know. Just kidding. But, this was around 2011 or so. Eric was on the radio full time on 700 WOW, had 2 Bulldog Roadhouse restaurants, 25 lawyers working for him. There were times I had 5 appointments a day, meeting with clients, getting initial facts and circumstances, the cases we handled. My goodness. Medical malpractice, wrongful death tragedies, murders. All the lawyers were busy working on cases that Eric brought in. One night around 11 o'clock or so, I got a call from Eric. He said, Chuck, I need you to meet me off 275 in Fairfield. It's important. So I hopped in my car, headed north. I could tell he was upset. I get up there. Eric's parked on the side of the road. I hop in his truck, leave my car there. About halfway to where we were going, he stops and looks at me. His eyes were watering. He said, Chuck, how can people not care? I mean, how can they just not care? There was one lawyer working for Eric, a retired Navy captain, thought very highly of himself, who Eric had gotten a couple complaints about. We're very serious about taking care of our clients, constant communication. For all these people, this legal case is the most important thing going on in their lives at the time. And when they want updates, we need to give them intelligent updates. So anyway, we get to this guy's house around midnight, mind you. Eric knocks on the door. The guy answers, and Eric says, "Where are my files?" The guy says, "What's going on, Eric?" Eric says, "I'm only going to ask you one more time. Where are my files?" The guy points to a stairway near the front door. He says, "Well, they're downstairs." And Eric says, "Come on, Chuck." We march in, go downstairs. There's about 12, 15 boxes there lined up against the wall. Some were untouched. The guy comes down. He says, "Eric, do I need to call the police?" Eric says, "You do that. Here, use my cell phone. Call them." The guy was bluffing. We start rapid fire, grabbing boxes, hauling them upstairs out the door. The guy pretty much kept quiet and stayed out of our way. Shock and awe. But the reason I'm telling you this story is to show you what a man of action Eric Deters is. Eric solves problems. That's what he does. He's a doer. He's all about action. He loves life. He loves people. He helps people literally every single day. He lives on naps, gives his cell number out to the world. He wants everybody to be able to get in touch with him. I mean, he wants to hear from people. Go ahead, 859-250-2527. Test it out. Text him. You know, one of the things that helped me, something that stuck with me all these years, Eric stressed to me early on. He said, people don't like to be ignored. It's a simple thing, but, you know, there's times when people need more than a lawyer. They need a friend, someone who truly cares. We can't help everyone. You know, I've been there right by Eric's side when he's told people, "I'm so sorry what you've been through. It's wrong. It's awful. But unfortunately, we can't help you on this one." And he explains why. But people get that. You know, they appreciate it. Eric's honest with himself and with others. He's not about mismanaging expectations. At one of the Freedom Fest events that Eric puts on, there was a reporter who came up to me and asked for an interview. I really didn't feel like giving an interview. I said, "Okay." We get to talking, and he said, "Let me ask you this. Why should Kentuckians vote for Eric Deters to be their next governor?" I sort of laughed, and I was mildly offended. I said, "Why should they? Kentucky should be so lucky." I'm telling you what, Kentucky's never seen a guy fight for people the way Eric Deters does or work his heart. It's not even close. So that's who Eric Deters is, and that's what he's about. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that Eric's given me to help people and the relationships, the friendships we've formed. I could go on for days, but yeah. You won't be disappointed if you vote for Eric Deters to be your next governor. It'll be fun to watch. Kentucky should be so lucky.